In this video, someone tries to take me out in Daily Race A, Daily Race B. I have nowhere to go as I get blocked in. And in Daily Race C, oh, it's a traffic jam as we race at the mini Nurburgring. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Gran Turismo weekly race guide here in 2024, week 22, and an interesting week again, I would say. First up in the background, we're in Renault Clio V6s. Yes, this crazy car that actually exists in real life. Now at the Nurburgring sprint circuit, and what exactly are we doing here? Well, 5 laps. It's a grid start with a false start check on comfort soft tyres, and of course, BOP is on, but feel free to add a wing. I know a wing is possible, as you will see in the background as well. Now, if you don't want to do this race, there are some timestamps there to jump to Group Race B and Race C, which is Group 4 and 3 respectively. However, I highly recommend doing this race, and if you can get a nice, clean bit of driving in terms of the drivers you're racing with, I think it's quite a good race. Here we are then at the start of this one. Sonic starting in pole position. Bembo in P3 with that spoiler that I talked about. As we prepare here then. So as always, hold the handbrake. Don't hold your brake pedal, hold the handbrake. Then it's a quick release when you get ready to go here then. 5 lights and off we go. Very good start from me there. Timed it to perfection, to be honest with you. It is a little bit of guesswork there as we start here. Hodgson's car looking very nice there with that spoiler as well as we head down towards turn number 1 then for the first time of 5. It's a good distance this race. Good distance indeed. Down the middle I go. Hudson comes across there, so I do try and get out of that. Slight tap on the left side with Mario Sonic. Slight tap on the right with Diddy there as we continue on there. But, you know, fairly okay in terms of turn 1. Everybody survives here. And again, if you can get a real good, clean bunch of racers racing this race, it's actually a fantastic race this. And you'll see why as we go through this. Lots of side-by-side action up ahead as we go through the left-hander and into the right to exit this stadium area then. And we're going to have to go off circuit here there just to avoid Diddy on the right side as we continue on through there. Up into P9 we are then. I'm pretty sure we started lower than that, but I can't actually remember off the top of my head. In towards the hairpin we go then, still very tight. Hodgson towards the left-hand side there, so we're going to get that position then. Up into P8, up into P7 in fact, as we get on the inside of Mario Sonic as well. As we head up towards this left-hander then, and we're going to try and keep it round the outside then. Slight tap from behind. I think that's Diddy into the back of me here then, as we go into the right-hander. And we are up into P7, guaranteed then, as we continue on through here. And we got Handsome Frank and Bembo up ahead, fighting each other. Of course, I'm going to bump my teammate here. Bembo, here you go. A little bit of a bump draft as we head towards this right-hander. Through we go. Whoa! Penalty there. I forgot about that one. Penalty of a car. They had nowhere to go, to be honest with you. They're sort of sat in the middle of the circuit. Anyway, in towards the braking zone we go here then, slowing it down. Bembo does get that position. Well played, Bembo, as we continue on through here then in P6. The all-famous P6 then. No, stop the horns. We don't want the horns. Oh, Handsome Frank with a 0.5 second penalty. Do you have to be careful of that at the chicane? I will talk about the chicane, of course, in the lap guide to come then. We're going to fast forward here down to the end of the start-finish straight. Then Handsome Frank down the inside of Bembo as we go into here then. We're trying to get really on the inside of Bembo. Can we do this? That is the question. As Bembo comes back on the circuit, we are ahead then. So up into P5 we go. Sonic's got a 0.5 second penalty in the distance. Handsome Frank, well, a lot of the weight transfer there happening. So Handsome Frank very much on the inside here, and we're going to try around the outside, which is very hard to do on this corner, if not impossible. And you can see that there, Frank keeps that P4 then. So some good racing so far, some really good racing here as we look up in the distance. And Sonic's on the inside of Roberto, and if we can zoom in here, there we go. There's a fight then going on there. It seemed like Roberto turned into Sonic, and that's going to bring everybody back into the equation, and they're still side by side in the distance. We're very close here. Diddy's looking on the inside, so I'm going to give Diddy some space there as we go into this left-hander. Side-by-side action still then. Look at this. Fantastic racing so far. Once again, in towards the right we go then. Big tap from the rear there from Diddy, and then that unfortunately means that we tap Frank then, and it unsettles our car here, but we get the run out the corner then. Frank going to take that penalty. Sonic's taking that penalty up ahead as well as we head towards the chicane. So potentially on for a win here. We'll see what happens here. Lots of Clios behind me. Look at that rear view mirror. That's a scary sight indeed as we defend in the middle of the road then. In towards the left we go. We do defend very nicely here as we go through the right. Now, anybody very well aware of what just happened? Yes, we unfortunately cut the chicane just a tiny bit too much there, and in the distance then Roberto's gained the lead. Sonic in P2, the French driver in P3 as we head in towards turn number 1 then. Sonic on the outside, we're on the inside trying to follow the French driver as we go into here then, and it looks like we're going to get this potentially. I just realized that's Renault up ahead. That's the BTCC livery, is it not? Diddy just absolutely punched Sonic there forward there to maintain P3. And that damage on the back of the Clio now looking quite severe as we go into the next left-hander, even more so now in the sunshine. Look at that. Huge dents absolutely everywhere. Slight tap between the two up ahead. That's weight transfer issues as we continue on through here. Now, I did notice we were 3 wide, so I did give extra room here to allow all of the cars here to have some room on the circuit as we head in towards the hairpin. Slowing the car down nicely here on the inside, keeping it nice and tight, being 3 wide. We're now 2 wide again then. So Diddy did lose out there, and we're looking to get into P3. Now, we do have this penalty to take as well, so I'm obviously just trying to get ahead here so I don't lose too much in terms of a gap to the field then. As we head towards the right-hander, Roberto still in the lead then, the French driver, FRD in P2. As we continue on through here, then I'm going to head over towards the right-hand side to get off that racing line then, be a good sportsman, because, of course, that's what I try to be every time I do race here. As we continue on. So we're going to go 3 wide there briefly, and there's a bit of contact between Marisonic and Diddy then as we head towards the chicane. Somebody else gone through. That's Benbow then on the inside of Diddy as we head on towards this braking zone. Diddy right to the back of Marisonic, which I wasn't sure. That looked intentional to me, and unfortunately that went straight into TCR Sonic, who's then been reset. So Diddy, I would be waiting up there if I was you. You just caused a driver to reset. However, you're not. We're continuing racing. So in we go to the right-hander. And we're back into P4 then. All said and done with Mario Sonic in the distance. Let's fast forward here a little bit then as we head towards turn 1. Slipstream coming into play then as we head towards the braking zone. Then hard on the brakes. I see Diddy coming quite quickly there. So I'll leave a bit of room there on the inside. Sorry, the outside there. But inside of Mario Sonic. And fortunately, we do all survive. I'm moving to P3 now, though, as we head in towards this left-hander. Slowing the car down. Just want to get this car balanced because I feel I can catch up to the lead pack. And I felt that from the start here. I felt very quick. So here we go on the final lap then. Roberto up in the distance. Initially moves. It moves again there, but I notice there's still room there on the inside. So I go for it. Then they move when I've already moved there. And then, yeah, unfortunately, they sort of half send me to the realm here. Not very happy with that at all. That was very much intentional by Roberto. You do need to learn how to drive a little bit better. And we are going to talk about overtaking a little bit more in tomorrow's video on Tuesday, if you do watch the weekly race guide later today. But even so, we're going to still try and get past Roberto here. We obviously saw what happened with Sonic earlier on versus Roberto, and we're seeing it here again. So Roberto's not driving the best here at all, but we'll see what we can do then. So coming into this right, I was going for the run there. It looks like we've got a good run here. They get a bit of oversteer then. So we're on the left-hand side there. Roberto starts turning into me, of course. No idea what's going on, so I'm going to go defensive here. I'm going to brake extremely early here just because I know what's going to happen, and they turn into me. But unfortunately for them, they go off and I stay on the circuit. So I'm looking to you, Roberto. I mean, you've been a bit of a muppet, to be honest with you, and yeah, we'll take that. So we're going to head towards the chicane then for the final time here as we go hard on the brakes. Looking at rearview mirror, though, we're going to zoom in because look at that. Roberto tried to take Mario Sonic out because you're a moron. And that is what you are. You are a moron as we continue on. I am going to report that, and we are going to have a look at it in bloopers as well. Just driving like that is just ridiculous, to be honest with you. You may not be happy because of something, but you do not try and take somebody out like that. It's ridiculous. Even so, though, we got P2, and as I say, if you can get the clean racing, and we sort of start with some good racing, if you can keep that up throughout the entire race, it's a brilliant race, eh? I think it's a very good one, if I'm brutally honest. Right, lap guide, heading towards turn 1. On the left-hand side there, you got tarmac, which goes into grass. That is your brake marker. Now, engine braking is very, very, very good in this car. Now, you may want to overlay a little bit. I've talked about overlaying before. Hard on the brakes, just a tiny tap of the throttle there, and it will reduce any oversteer because this car does suffer from weight transfer. And you can see that I actually broke way too early, in fact. That is literally how good the engine braking is. In third gear, that was perfect. But using the second gear, yeah, that is what it is. Now, through here, I just lifted off a little bit, and I'm waiting for that tower there just to get towards the center of the screen. So you notice that I've just started accelerating now. By the time it hits the center, I'll be full throttle, and I'll make it through the corner. The key, one of the keys with this car, should I say, not the key, one of the keys is literally to stay in third gear on acceleration. It avoids oversteer, and that's what you want to avoid in this car. Any oversteer, you are going to suffer in terms of lap time. Now, on the left-hand side there, we've got that lamppost. Okay, as that hits the edge of your screen, and as it disappears, to be honest with you, that's when you want to hit the brakes for this car. Now, you are going to have to be careful. You are turning slightly here as you go on the brakes, which does mean weight transfer. Now, as you come into here, just be careful. I'll try and straight line it a little bit there, drop to second gear, and then I dab the brakes a little bit, go up to third gear to stop any power oversteer. As I go into this right, slight lift there, and I'm going to straighten up the steering as much as I can there. Notice how much I straightened it up straight away, just to avoid any weight transfer or continued weight transfer that can happen in this car. As we head towards the hairpin then, the 100 board on the left-hand side, really good brake marker. You can see I've just come off the throttle right about now. I'm about to go hard on the brakes then. That is your marker for this hairpin. You can see that on chase cam as well. You can see, look, the brake lights are on. We're just starting to brake right about now as we go into this corner. You can drop to second gear, which is what I do here, up to third gear again to avoid that power oversteer on exit. do accelerate very early, okay? There is quite a bit of power in that power band. It's around 4,500 where you want to be. So if you can maintain every single mile an hour that you can, you will benefit a lot in terms of this one. So here we have the sector lap time there. Literally, that line is your brake marker for this left-hander. So you're going to hit the brakes and use all of the circuit, as I'm doing right here. Look at that. I'm using all of it and a little bit more as we turn into here. Now, I'm going to use all of the inside as well. Accelerate as quick as I can. Straighten up the car as best as I can over towards the left-hand side. And literally before that tarmac ends on the right-hand side, I'm going to hit the brakes here and turn in. Now, I did suffer a bit of oversteer in this car on this corner every single lap, but some oversteer is actually okay on this particular corner. You just don't want too much of it. A tiny bit of four-wheel drifting is what we're sort of after here as we go into here. Notice a tiny bit of slippage, and then it settles down and we accelerate through the corner, and that actually allows us to straighten up on the exit. Not too shabby at all here. We are 2 tenths down that fastest here, believe it or not, as we head towards the chicane then. We've got the 100 board, or as that drainage opens up there on the right-hand side. Both these markers are brilliant. We're braking just before we get to them, and you can see I've just started to go on the brakes right about now. Once again, overlaying may be useful here, and what you want to do actually is brake a bit earlier than you anticipate. So as I've said here, brake exactly there, and then start to release the brakes as you come into here. Notice there, I literally let the car do its thing over the first curb. That means I don't get any weight transfer over the bump, and I can accelerate through the second part. Weight transfer is one of the critical parts of this. You have to try and avoid it. So if you can straighten up and then hit a bump, it's great, because obviously the weight transfer is going to stay center then and not move over to the left or right. This final brake marker then on the left-hand side, I've mentioned it many times, is the orange painted barrier. On chase cam, the lavatory there, you can see it. Also a good marker here as we come into this corner. Once again, we're trying to get it turned and accelerate very quickly in third gear. Use all of the exit if you can here and head towards that line. Now, this is a 145.4, I think it is. 144 is definitely possible here. Definitely going to see that then. But that's it for race A. We're going to jump to race B then, where I'm in the McLaren 650S. And we're at Yamagiwa, if you can't tell by the background circuit. What exactly we're doing here at Yamagiwa? That is the question. Well, we're doing 5 laps. It's a rolling start on racing medium tyres. You can change the suspension, the differential and brake belts. It's very frustrating that we can still do this. It's 4th week in a row for tuning. Some of us just don't want tuning. We just want to have some fun. Even so, I chose the McLaren 650S. Very quick here, very quick at high-speed circuits as we saw at Seaside. Let's jump to the race end. Let's have a look exactly what happens. Right, what have people picked in this one? Mario's trying to get a Peugeot RCZ. That's a brave choice, surely. We'll see what happens, though, as we get underway here in the McLaren 650S. Let's say I was on +5 brake balance. You can see my brake balance all the time on the lap guides, and you just saw the subscribe graphic. Make sure you do subscribe. We're on a journey to 50,000 subscribers, and you don't want to miss a trick in terms of the content either. Right, heading towards turn 1 then. The GTR broke a little bit earlier than I expected, so I took a bit of avoiding action there. However, we are very much on the rear bumper. And one problem I had with this GTR, it's so big that I could hardly see the curbs going up this mountain. So I did lose a little bit of time here then as I go into this left-hander. And GTR struggling a little bit there with understeer. It does come back very nicely though as we continue on through here. It looks like somebody's out wide there. Who's that? It's Radion UK. And we've got a run on the GTR, who's also got a run on the McLaren then. We're going to be 3 wide then, heading towards the chicane. This can be very dangerous indeed. Let's see what happens then. I brake early here, the GTR down the middle, and we all survived this. And Radion there, brave to just come off it completely, and also smart to do that as well. On the outside, you're not really going to win when 2 cars are on the inside, so fair play to Radion then as we head down here, looking to slow the car down nicely through this kink then. Very dangerous kink as we can see up ahead. The GTR nearly off. It looks like there's been some action up ahead. Hodgson going very slowly here as we head in towards the right. It looks like a real bunching up of cars as we get into the back of the GTR. Wow, that was close. As we continue on through here, then we accelerate out the GTR, just understeers a bit off there. Does manage to recover it without going onto the grass. However, we do gain a position up into P13. We go then. We get towards the top of the hill here on lap number 2, and we are very much in the thick of this pack. Never quit there. Race a bit earlier than I expected there. Did take avoiding action, but we're going to try and get the inside of the Ferrari then as we continue on through here, side by side. Do we get it done? Just leave enough space there on the exit for a Ferrari. And you see my smile there. I did enjoy that one. We are up into P12. So we're making moves in this race so far. We are making moves as we go into this braking zone. Then Bembo off in the distance in the McLaren there. Does manage to recover it as we continue on through here. We get a run on all 3 cars. Where do you go? That's the question. Hodgson towards the left. We've got ASM then on the left-hand side. We just had nowhere to go there. Hodgson with some brilliant defensive driving there, making sure I was boxed in. Hodgson did apologise for that, but I'm like, no, that's good racing. You don't block me in, but you sort of put me in a place where I can't make a move. That's perfect driving. That's what you want to do. You want to put somebody in a place they can't make the move and continue on. We are going to talk about overtaking this week. Do keep an eye out for that video as we continue on through this left-hander then. Up in the distance, the Ferrari gets all sorts of wrong and goes for a spin. What's that? Another def here. We've got a def corner at Yamagiwa. It's definitely like kink. It can be dangerous, but you just have to know how to do it. And I'll explain how to do it in the lap guide, of course. Right, okay, that Renault Megane trophy is now a quick car, remember, in a straight line. So we're not catching that quickly through the start-finish straight. Up the S's, though, we are gaining here. Been in the slipstream for quite a while. Hodgson obviously punching a hole in the air there. We're going to go down the inside of the purple machine then as we go into the left-hander, looking to slow the car down, using that curb to our advantage here. And we are now up into P9. Big old gap there to P8, but we'll see what we can do then. Hodgson, I think, actually gave us a bit of a bump draft there as well. Through the left we go. Looks like someone's going for a spin there. Another driver after that's Ollie as we head into the final lap then in P number 7. We have caught up to the drivers up ahead. What's that? It's a Subaru in the distance as we can see. Oh, the Subaru's off. No, it's not a rallycross, mate. You don't go rallying. I know you do normally in a Subaru. Not this time, not on this occasion, but Canyon are going to have dirt on their tyres. Now, I forgot about that bit, but I didn't forget about this. So, they have dirt on their tyres. One of the key things here, someone goes defensive when they've got dirt on their tyres, they're always going to go deep, 9 times out of 10. Let them go deep. And I go for this beautiful move. What a cutback. I just prepped that perfectly. I knew exactly what was going to happen. Prepared for it. Executed it. Jobs are good, and we finished there in P6. The infamous place once again there. Well, I did enjoy that move on Canyon Drifter. Fair play for the catch as well, Canyon. Appreciate the racing, everybody who I raced there. It was a really good race, to be honest with you. Had some good side-by-side action for a lot of drivers there, and I do appreciate it. Right, we're going to head towards turn number 1 then. On the right-hand side there, we've got the Marshall box or the 50 board. I use either of those for turn 1. Now, critically for turn 1, and at Yamagiwa in general, the curbs are actually kind of nice to use. You actually do want to touch them. They turn a bit grippy. They sort of rotate the car a little bit, so you do want to get on them here. So that's what I'm aiming to do here. As I slow the car down, I clip the curb there, which is perfect. And what I'm looking for then is that billboard I've just highlighted. That's my accelerating markers. You've got 3 grandstands that you can see that are dulled out, and then you got that billboard. As I start to see that billboard, I want to start going on the throttle, to be honest with you. I also want to be touching the curb, as you can see here on chase cam, and then I should be able to make the corner. And as you see here, that's what I do. Now, if you do use this 50S, you do need to make sure you do short shift this car. It's very much a short shifting car, so do keep that in mind. I'm shifting just after halfway there. And going up the mountain here, or the hill, it's very much straightforward. Just keep it flat. Just don't literally hit the curbs square on. Just make sure you touch the curbs after they've started, and you should be fine. What we're going to do next then is heading towards this fast left-hander. Very easy corners to get wrong. Very hard corners to nail perfectly. But we've got a 50 board here in the Marshall box. I use the 50 board more. So I start to turn in and then I start to trail brake. What's trail braking? Not 100% braking. Usually it's 50%, 75%. I literally want the car to turn in here. No, it's 50% braking. I'm clipping the curb there. That's exactly what I want to do. I instantly start accelerating because the car's going to come back to me, okay? And look at that. That's what you want to do. Try and make sure you're doing something throughout that corner and you should be able to absolutely nail it. Going to head towards the chicane then. Let me talk about the chicane. First of all, the 100 board is a good brake marker, but actually use the white line, which is the 100 marker on the left-hand side. As that disappears, hit the brakes. Brake in a straight line. Now, to do this corner, it's all about weight transfer and nailing the curbs. You can abuse the curbs like crazy, and that's what you want to do here. So I'm going to turn in quite early here to abuse a little bit on the left. I want to straighten up as much as I can for the right, and then straighten up here on the left as well. Not the greatest chicane, but also not the worst chicane. I just abuse track limits a little bit there. I can do that. And as long as the car stays straight and true, we should be fine in terms of lap time. Heading towards the hairpin then, we've got letter on the circuits, and it's literally the end of the letters there that my brake marker is. Just after that, in fact, in this McLaren, and that's what I'm going to try and do here, okay? You can see them very clear there. 35R, I assume that's the radius's corner. I don't know, though, as we go into this braking zone. And it can't be 35R, actually, can it? Because literally it's a hairpin. You muppet-age. Right, let's continue on down here then. I'm going to head towards a very dangerous corner. This is the kink, okay? As you come down here, you want to start to lift, okay? You want to be able to straight line brake. So you have to lift to make sure you get the straight line. And it's the end of the curb, which is your brake marker. Now, I normally drop a gear in every single car when I come down here. So that's your aim here. You're going to hit the brakes, drop a gear, and then you want to let the car flow through this corner a little bit. If you start accelerating too early, what's going to happen is the front will lift and then you'll take off. Notice that I didn't accelerate until I'd already hit the curb and was on the curb. Make sure you do that. It's a really nice tip for this course, this circuit at Yamagiwa. That kink, just make sure you do that. Final corner then, the Marshall box on the left-hand side, or the 50 board if you really want to brake and be the last of the late brakers there on the left-hand side. This is my brake marker. I like a tight line for this corner. Some people like a wider line. I like a tight line. If I can clip the curb, I know I can then accelerate through it, and I should make it on the exit. However, the GTR you saw suffered understeer. You do have to be careful of that. That's a 139.5. 138s are possible here. Do keep an eye out for 38s because there's going to be some very strong drivers trying that one, I'm sure. Already at Group 3 Brands Hatch here for Daily Race C. You can see that in the background. What exactly we're doing here at Brands Hatch? Well, we are doing 13 laps, or looking for some. Rolling start, racing medium tyres. You do have to pit Times 2 fuel, times 6 tyre wear, and once again, tuning is enabled. Times 6 tyre wear is critical here because some MR cars are going to get to the very bare bones of the tyre if you choose not to change tyres. That's something to think about in terms of strategy. We're going to jump to the race then. Let's have a look exactly what happens as I try out the 911. Okay, what cars do we have in this one? We've got an Aston, a McLaren, a Mercedes-AMG GT3. I actually completely forgot about that car, to be honest with you. I probably would have tried that car this week, if I'm brutally honest. Right, if you are enjoying this video, as always, do get a like and do subscribe to the channel. And we've already got a run on Lewis here. You're going to see a lot of British people playing on Monday because it's bank holiday today. However, I'm still doing the YouTube stuff. It's YouTube Day Monday, and that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, through turn one we go. I didn't manage to get the move done on Lewis. Lewis looking down the inside of Mario Sonic, though, as we go into the right-hander. And in my short this morning, I called this the mini Nurburgring because I feel it is. It's very hard to overtake on this circuit as we go into the left-hander, Mario Sonic and Lewis showing some really good racing there. I'm going to try and follow Lewis through here. I saw the momentum Lewis had there and followed Lewis, and in towards the left we go. And we're just ahead of Mario Sonic. We are now up into P15 then as we continue on here towards the fast right-hander. Now, I just want to talk about setups initially. Yes, it's setups in this race. All of the weekly race guides I've ever done, I don't show you setups. I do it on default setup to show you it is possible to race without a setup. Yes, setups can help and improve you by a tenth or two, but they're not a necessity. Okay, you can do it. So my lap time that I did earlier this morning was very quick, in my opinion. There's still a lot of time on the table, but even so, that was without a setup. If I do have setups, we do have some in Discord as well, by the way. You can check them out in the description. If you want a setup, go to Discord. There's some in there, and just have a look at them and try them out. And I've shared them in videos in the past as well, the ones I use. Now, let's go back to the race then. Lewis just got held up by Sebastian Loeb going in the pits there. So we get a 2-for-1 here, potentially, as we head towards turn one. As I felt I was quite quick here, to be honest with you. I know they am quite quick at Brands, if I'm honest. As we go through here then, Fat Band 1 struggling at turn 1. So they've been off the circuit as we go into this right-hander. We send it down the inside, and we are now up into P12 with Shelty in the distance. Not so much in the distance anymore as we go to the back end of Brands Hatch here, and we are right up the exhaust of Shelty here as we continue on through. Going to lift off a little bit there just to avoid any danger as we continue on through here. Then we're going to head towards this left-hander. Lewis is going to try and send it round the outside. Is it going to work? Yes, it is. That is a move and a half by Lewis. Well played indeed. And at that point then, I decided I was coming in the pits because I felt I was losing a lot of time here with that fight. So in the pits we go then as we slow it down nicely. Just be careful as you come in here because that wall on the left is quite deadly as I graze it there. I'm not changing tyres, which is a bit of a dangerous move, but I'm coming in so early, I felt this is the only strategy to do. However, I do feel you can change tyres in this and still benefit. It just depends when you do it. So obviously early on, you're just doing no tyre change. Mid-race, a tyre change may be beneficial for you. As we see, Jack has been off the circuit there, and I've just dropped it to +3 brake balance there because I know tyre wear is going to be an issue towards the end of the race. Sebastian Loeb there, all sorts of oversteer through turn one then. Oh, a bit iffy indeed. Goes towards the left-hand side. Doesn't go defensive in the end, so I'm going to send it down the inside. Do we get it stopped? We do indeed on the inside here. Going to accelerate out of the corner, leaving space for a Renault on the left-hand side. And look at that, we're up into P11. I think the Renault there just decided to give that up into Graham Hill, which is beneficial, actually. Side by side, Graham Hill really slows you down as we catch up to Adam K in the Ferrari there. Nice livery on this Ferrari, actually, as we go through the right-hander. Oh, a bit of oversteer from the curb there. I'm going to try around the outside here. And once again, Adam's going to give it up there. Too wide into this next right-hander can be dangerous. So I appreciate that, Adam. Obviously, you didn't have to, of course. And this is where we get a bit of fresh air then. So we're going to try and accelerate. Oh, hello. Who's off? Up in the... Oh, it's Fat Band 1 again. Same place, same time. Okay, down the inside again we go, up into P7. Now, I don't know if you noticed here, we're already catching the pack up in the distance. The pit stops are here are very quick indeed. So you do have to keep an eye out on that in terms of if you're stopping early, catching back up to the traffic. As we get to lap 10 there, a little bit of oversteer. The car's starting to struggle with tyre wear then. But we get to lap 13. I'm on -5 brake balance, and we do win the race. Literally. I was just accelerating away. I was doing my own race, and I won. There was no more drama in the race. So there you have it. I won in the Porsche with a default setup. It is possible, and you've just seen it right there. Right, okay, let me tell you how to do Brands Hatch then, because I do enjoy this circuit. Heading straight in towards turn one here then. On the left-hand side, we've got the 2 board and the marshal box. Those are your brake markers. Depending on the car, depends on where you brake. Okay, so you might want to brake really early at the 2 board or a little bit later at the marshal box. But as we go into here then, we start out wide and we're going to come back in. We're waiting to sort of make sure we're going to hit the bump down here and survive the corner. You don't want to touch the gravel there, you will spin out. Heading in towards Druids then, on the left-hand side, you've got the red painted barrier or the Palmer Sports sign up at the top. Either of these are really good brake markers. I tend to use the red on the left-hand side because it's a bit earlier, and you do want to brake a tiny bit earlier here to make sure you keep a nice tight line. The tighter line is the faster line here, okay? That's because you go downhill on acceleration, so the quicker you can get to that point, the quicker you accelerate away. That's better than normal. Head towards Graham Hill then. You can use the curb straight in front of you if you want. So that's where you're aiming towards in terms of driving anyway. But the green barrier on the right side, that's my brake marker I always use here now. It's a really nice brake marker. You want to brake a bit earlier anyway here to get the car rotated and accelerate through, because you don't want to hit this curb on the exit square on. You sort of want to rotate through a little bit and just make sure 2 wheels hit it like so. We're going to head up towards this next left-hander then. And on the right-hand side here, we've got the one board. Okay, so the one board or the green barrier, really good brake markers for this. So what I'm going to try and do here is go on a middle of the line approach. In Group 3, middle of the line is better than a really far wide line. A tight line can work sometimes, but you'll suffer power oversteer. So middle of the road here, and then we bring it back. Before we get to that sector time, we should have hit the curb, and we can accelerate through the corner there. At the end of the straight here, on the right-hand side, red painted barriers. I always talk about these at Brands Hatch. You know that from the time trial guide we've done with the Sylvia. These red painted barriers are just amazingly helpful. And we've got another one there on the right-hand side. So just as that leaves the screen, or on chase cam, close to the edge of your screen, you're going to hit the brakes and turn in. When you hit the apex, you start accelerating there. Notice I'm trying to stay above 105 miles an hour. Really good marker to use then. Left-hand side, similar situation, red brake marker. This time I have dropped again. You can see I've just started braking right now. You do have to be careful of the curb on the inside. Now, we did see that in the race with the Ferrari. Adam driving the Ferrari just went over this curb a bit wrong. It caused a bit of oversteer. You want a balanced exit. So as you go through here, I sort of delay the throttle a little bit longer than normal just because I want the car to remain settled rather than the throttle just causing the weight transfer to go a bit iffy. Through Dingledale, and on the right side there, we've got the one board. Okay, before that hits the edge of your screen, you want to hit the brakes. Try and avoid touching the grass on the left-hand side. It's very dangerous to do, and if you do, you're going to go for a bit of a spin. But you want to get as close to that as you can, because then you turn back in, and you've got a very nice line to accelerate through the corner with, as you see right there. Be careful on exit, of course. Touching that grass will spear you out. And on the right-hand side there, we've got the marshals behind the bigger catchment fence that you can see anywhere else. That is your brake marker for this left-hander. This corner is cambered, so you do want to get on the inside as best as you can. And the more on the inside you get, the better it should be. Unless you're suffering a bit of weight transfer issue, then that's potentially too much camber, so just be careful there. So you can see there I lost a little bit of time because I didn't use all of the camber as we head towards the final corner. Now, what we're looking for is on the left-hand side. So the green marker there on the barrier, on the tyre wall on the left-hand side, is your brake marker for this final corner. You're going to hit the brakes and turn in. Now, with this corner, I like a higher gear normally just to allow the car to accelerate through the corner, and it doesn't then rotate as much and have weird weight transfers. So that's what I'm trying to do there as we continue on through. I actually lost a little bit more time there because I could have been a bit more aggressive. We're going to head towards the line here, very close in terms of the previous lap, but that is a 122.7. Good job, some bloopers now, and heading towards turn 1, race A. This driver here completely gets the braking wrong here and is going to hit the French driver and also hit Sonic. This is where I would give the positions back immediately because obviously you've done something wrong there, but then you get a penalty here. So I don't know if you knew you were going to get a penalty or not, but yeah, I would have given it back. Going up here, so Mario Sonic's on the inside or in the middle of 2 cars after I'd taken the penalty. So this is where Diddy goes for the takeout. I still am confused by this. As we go here onto the brakes, it's like pushing Mario into Sonic. Mario Sonic into Sonic, of course. Sonic gets reset there. Diddy, you need to wait up there at that point, and then Bembo gets run off the circuit. That, you do need to wait up there. That is clearly on you at that point. You have to wait up. That's so unfair on Sonic. It really, really, really is. It's just not the greatest driving in the world, that is for sure. What we are going to do, though, is advance to this overtake maneuver. So you can see there, Roberto's left, and then it's a reactional move. It's just bad and dirty driving there by Roberto. You left the gap on the inside. I can go for that gap. I'm allowed to. You've already made your move at that point. You can't then just turn into me because you see I've gone down for that move. So that's just really bad driving and just shocking, really. So through the right we go. So you can see that oversteer here. They're just going to straighten up here and try and run me off a little bit there. But they don't fully run me off, so maybe more bad driving than dirty. But as we head in towards this right-hander, I'm not sure where they wanted to go other than tap me and go off the circuit again. Very confused by that, of course. Really am confused. And even more so this next thing I am reporting. So we see Roberto here. Roberto is clearly going to go for the takeout here on Mario Sonic. I have no idea why. You see, they turn in, they release the brakes, and yeah, try and go for a takeout. Fail miserably, of course, because yeah, they're not the greatest person in the world. A moron, as I said, in the race, as you can see there. Not his fault there, that he's just been reset in the middle of nowhere. But going to continue towards the final corner and once again try another takeout because you're a moron, essentially. So, yeah, go into Hodgson there to try and get the position. So I am reporting that particularly because that is not acceptable in any sport mode race at all. Fortunately, nobody was taken out, but even so, that is a dangerous action and dirty driving completely. Here we have Never Quit, just goes a bit slow there through the kink as they were side by side with Shelty. Hodgson looking to wait up here to allow Never Quit to continue on. Brilliant sportsmanship there from Hodgson. We jump to Bembo. We saw Bembo off at the chicane. Just a bit too heavy on the brakes, a bit too late on the brakes. I think maybe misjudged the 50 and the 100 there, but does recover it quite nicely, to be honest with you. Is going to get a 0.5 second penalty because, you know, you lose so much time, you have to lose a bit more as we jump to Ollie. Now, we did see Ollie off here, so let's head down in towards this left-hander. What happens here with Ollie? To the left we go, tap from behind, and then another tap there by the Lamborghini. That Lamborghini definitely should wait up there. That is on you. That's a takeout as we jump to Daily Race C then. So what happened to Jack? We saw Jack just going slowly here. Oh, bit of oversteer on the exit. Hits the barrier and goes for a spin then. Look how much traffic was there. That was obviously the traffic I missed because I went in the pits a lap earlier, literally on that lap. So we jumped to Fat Band 1. We didn't see the earlier one, but we're just going to look at this one. It's the same situation here. Just accelerates a bit too early and heads into the sand pit there. And is going to get slowed down massively, and that's when I send it down the inside. There I am. Hello. Right, okay, here we go with an AMG. I spotted this just luckily, really. Going through here, once again, accelerates a bit too early into the gravel and goes for a spin and a big old crash there. That is quite a common crash in real life. That situation, hitting the grass and spearing to the right, or gravel, should I say. Maratonic does touch some grass there on the outside, and then is going to go for a bit of a journey off the circuit. In a bit of a predicament here is Mario Sonic. So goes to accelerate, of course, is waiting for cars to go by, which is really hard to do at this moment in time. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, as always, do get a like and do subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all the support. If you've got any feedback, as always, do let me know in the comments as well. 2 videos there to check out, including Beat the Meta yesterday. Check that race out. Check the video out. It's absolutely awesome racing. Very well worth a watch, and another video there. GT Amiga, help me out. You can use my code Tidgney at checkout or the fan set link in the description. That's going to be it for me, though, folks. Big thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in another video live stream again very soon.